Welcome back, pipe enthusiast, to Catholic Pipes. My name is Kadesh. I'm the host of the show. I'm the host of all of the shows. Today, I want to talk to you about something that's also slightly controversial, which is the pricing for pipes. And I want to address two types of people with this video. Pipe makers who are starting out and collectors who are potentially starting out. Now, why is this important? So many times I have seen this where when the topic of high-grade pipes or high-priced pipes comes up, I see an unfair criticism of it, simply along the lines of, oh, that's for the elitists, or that's absurd, I would never. Just very negative terms where people are just in this position where they can't even fathom something costing that much. And what I want to do is I want to address that. Because the reality is that pipes are a luxury item, just like a lot of things around us. And just like a lot of other luxury items, there are price ranges. Take the humble bourbon, for instance. You could get yourself a plastic bottle of bourbon to get the job done. You know, pay $15 for it, and it tastes like acetone. Or you could spend $50 a bottle and get something that is sweeter and actually has flavor. And then you can get really nuts and get barrel selects. You can get special releases, which can go all the way up to potentially thousands of dollars for a bottle. Same thing with cars. You can get a car that gets you from A to B. Or you can get you a car that gets you from A to B in style. And the price is going to match. You go from getting a used car for, under $10,000 to spending tens of thousands of dollars, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars for a car. Pipes are no different, but I want to shed some light on this, specifically from the collector standpoint. The reality is within the pipe world, within it exists its own world. The pipe world has certain standards, certain beliefs, certain criteria that a lot of us share. You get a bunch of pipe collectors into the room and you pull out a pipe like this and you tell them, hey, I paid $600 for this. Almost all of them will not bat a single eyelash. They'll look at you and say, great purchase. And it's not because all of us are loaded with cash. I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not loaded with cash. But for me as a pipe maker, I understand what goes into the pipes. I have a connection to the pipes. And any and all pipes that I purchase, I do so personally for me because there's a story behind them. And you can't really put a price on that. I'm not buying several pipes or dozens of pipes a year in the upper price range. No, I might buy a pipe or two in a year, every other year, as a treat for myself. Or if I build a new friendship or relationship with somebody, I want to collect their work. And once again, as a pipe maker, I know the hard work that goes into it. So for myself, I have a very high tolerance for those prices in terms of being able to pallet them. But what goes into those pipes? Well, a lot of you have already heard my story in pipe making, but it's not so different from a lot of people who get into the pipe making world. You get into it with some hopes and some dreams, and then you start pursuing it. You put in the practice, you put in the muscle memory, you spend thousands of dollars out of your own pocket for the apprenticeships that you need in order to fly across the country, maybe across the world, to study with masters of the craft, to be able to learn, to be able to grow in your craft. There's a lot that goes into that particular pricing. But to make it a little bit more tangible, let's just say that high grade or collector grade pipes, their pricing usually starts in the mid 300s and then it goes north of there up to atmospherically high prices. But what I'll say is for those pipes that have that are on the lower end, those are just, like I said, entry level. Those are just entry level pipes. But typically what you can expect from that is somebody who has been to an apprenticeship. Maybe somebody who's already got several years of making pipes underneath their belt. And so they're charging prices that are equal to the skill set and to the labor they put into it. And the pricing varies as well. On the lower end of that pricing, that usually constitutes what we call sandblasting pipes. Like this one, where it's textured. The growth rings are brought out. Sandblasting, in comparison to making a smooth pipe, the amount of work that goes into it is not as much. The skill set, though, to get a good blast, there's still a high skill set that goes into that as well. It's not that it's a lower quality, it's just a different type of skill set and time commitment that goes into it. But a smooth pipe, for instance, might be several $100s more than your sandblast because it requires a different type of skill set and an exceptionally longer amount of time to pull off that desired effect that is so sought after when it comes to a smooth pipe. In between that $350 to, let's just say, $600, $700, maybe pushing the $800 range, there's a rhyme and a reason to it. You can take a look at how many people the person studied with. Not that the amount matters, but the fact that they did study with another high-grade artist is important. Their unique voice, how they interpret shapes, or their own unique shapes they put out there into the pipe world, is also going to constitute the pricing as well. I mean, is their work so desirable or so unique that it doesn't look like anything else out there? That drives up the collector value. Now, once you start encroaching into the $1,000 price range and above, there is no real logical, tangible way to describe it in terms of saying, here's the justification for it. Now, is that to say that those prices are asinine? Is it to say that those are just greedy people who are trying to pull one over on you with that, the exuberant pricing? Absolutely not. See, the reality is just, even though there's not a clear way to articulate it, the reality is that it's just what you would call, what the French say, is je ne sais quoi. It's a little special something. To get to be charging those kinds of prices, where it's thousands of dollars, it's time, place, and a little sprinkling of fairy dust. Now, that's not to take away from them, because the people who are charging that much, they are very good pipe makers. Very good pipe makers. But at the end of the day, can somebody else get to that skill level? Probably. But once again, it goes from skill set and resume to brand. It comes down to the person at that point. What does that person represent? Are they a piece of pipe making history? Do they represent excellence within the country in which they're making pipes? It's those types of things that are intangible but yet are understood that go into those upper level pricing. Underneath it, like I said, from like 800 and under, there's a plan to get to that kind of pricing. There is a rhyme and reason that can be justified. But that justification, once again, not everybody's going to agree with it, and you shouldn't, and you don't have to agree with that kind of pricing. But it only makes sense when you're in the community, when you have a connection to pipes, to the artisans, and to the craft. All of a sudden, that pricing becomes more tangible. It's kind of like when you go to a salesperson, like, you don't want to buy something from a salesperson who is grumpy, who is unapproachable, who doesn't know how to connect with you. And if they're going to be selling you something that's an expensive item, you're not going to want anything to do with that. It's easier for you to say no. But if you encounter a salesperson who is genuine, who's got charisma, who sees your needs and is trying to fill them, and you feel something for that person, they could be charging the same price as the bad salesman, but you're going to buy with that person because you have a connection with that person. I'm not saying that us pipe makers are salesmen just trying to hawk our good. You can't really be a salesman with pipes, because either you like it or you don't. Controversial take, pipes are art. They are. They smoke. They have an objective nature to them, in that you smoke them, but the artistry that goes into them is highly subjective. And that's what people pay for. You can't sell something to someone like that that's so subjective. It all comes down to taste. Either somebody wants to buy your pipe or they don't. But whether or not they're looking at your table and they want to buy, part of their buying decision could be how much they actually like you. That connection is so important when it comes to pipes and when you're making those pipe purchases. Now, I'm a big advocate for the artisan, but also the factory-made pipes as well. I mean, I used to collect factory-made pipes when I was first starting out my pipe journey in general. Before I even got into making, I was a small pipe collector, and I enjoyed the hunt of going out to the local antique shops and asking if they had pipes hidden somewhere that I could sift through, finding the one that I really wanted, the one that really sang to me. And I was on the lower end as well. Like I said, even with the factory-made pipes, that's like going antiquing. But there are factories still. Peterson Pipes, Costello, Dunhill, just to name a few. Ardor, Savignelli. There's a bunch of pipe factories out there that are doing great work and doing artistic work too. I mean, you can put 5 factory pipes in front of you and you don't even have to see their logo. But if you've been around them enough, you can distinctly pick out which factory made which one because they have their own unique voice and style that accompanies their brand. So when it comes to collecting, price really isn't that big of a deal. It just comes down to your connection and your seriousness within the craft. If you're serious about pipe smoking and collecting, that doesn't mean that you're just buying $1,000 pipes all the time. No, it means you know what you like, but you can also appreciate the pricing that goes into it. And simply say, not my cup of tea, but I get it. But I'm not going to be the one forking out that kind of money because I'm not there. I'm not the person they're marketing to. Now let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk to newer pipe makers out there, because this is a trap that I fell into, and I've seen some other starting out pipe makers fall into the same trap as well. So let's shed some light on the pricing for the pipe maker side. Sorry, I had to fill the tank. All right, I'm recharged. Pipe makers who are just starting out. Here's the thing. You smoke a pipe, you think it's really cool. Somehow, some way, Lord of the Rings, whatever it may be, you stumble into the world of pipes and you think, I want to have a go at it. Great, beautiful, do it. We need some new carvers in the pipe making scene. Absolutely. Just as much as we need collectors, we need pipe makers. We need the supply and the demand to have a booming economy within the pipe world. You need both. But let's talk about proper expectations here. I have always had an entrepreneurial spirit. And so when I was looking for a business to start, in the midst of some job losses, I'm like, time to flex my wings, let's start doing this entrepreneurial thing. I was smoking a pipe, and that's when I went online and I made the big mistake of going to smokingpipes.com and scanpipes.com, two of the largest distributors of high-end pipes. And I remember seeing the pricing on these guys and thinking to myself, my gosh, I saw one maker whose pipes were like $800 to $1,500, and I saw this list of sold. And in my eyes, I'm thinking, ka-ching, this is what I'm gonna do. And that was a very naive perspective because I lived in my own bubble. I had not yet incorporated myself into the pipe bubble, into that pipe world, to understand what that pricing meant. And so I got into pipe making thinking like this is a cash grab. It really wasn't. It was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And what made it more difficult was, once again, being isolated and just making pipes on my own for however long, not knowing that I could really seek out guidance, not knowing that there was a whole kind of pipe making tradition in terms of going to visit pipe makers, to study with them, to learn the craft, and to grow in your craft and skill set. I had no idea that existed. And so for most starting out pipe makers, understand that the best thing you can do is, if you're going to charge anything, is first give them out as gifts to people, to just start it off, to get people get used to it, making pipes, working and trying to develop your own personal standards by maybe just looking at pictures. But outside of giving them as gifts, definitely, the first point, the first pricing you're going to want to do is to maybe cover the cost of your materials plus a little scratch for you. So that way you can save to buy your next piece of equipment. In the beginning, it's all investment in yourself, investment in your materials, investment in your tooling, and investment in your knowledge. So when you're making pipes, you want to have a very humble beginning. Always do the best that you can, set proper expectations and a proper pricing, which is usually to cover the cost of materials, like I said, and a small little bit on the top. And that's, once again, to reinvest into your business to help it keep on going so you can keep on practicing. I would say in between the $100 to $200 range is when you're getting a little bit more serious. And at that point, hopefully you're seeking out a mentor. That's going to be key. Seeking out a mentor with whom you can go ahead and study with to increase your skill set. That does not mean that you immediately get to start raising your prices because you studied with a big name. It doesn't mean that. What it means, though, is that more eyes are going to be on you to watch your quality elevate. Because I'm going to tell you right now, visiting a pipe maker for a long weekend, you're not going to see the quality in your work reflective until 10 to 20 pipes later. Then you're going to start seeing those new skills that you've acquired. They're going to start becoming more apparent. So when it comes down to it, like from a collector's perspective and the pipe maker's perspective, when you're first starting out and you're looking at these pipes, is you pay for what you get for. So if you're charging on the lower end, it's not an excuse to put out crappy pipes. It's a realization that you're working on it, that you're moving towards a particular goal in terms of the pipe maker you want to be. It's not the dollar amount you charge for pipes that should be your goal. It needs to be the quality of your work, and that quality of work being assessed by competent pipe makers who can look at it and give you a fair and accurate representation of where you're at as a maker. You got this that you need to work on. Your lines are still off. Your colors don't match up. You could have sanded this a little better. That's what you're craving, is that quality level of feedback. And the second or third thing that I would recommend is get yourself out to a show. In religious terminology, it's a pipe pilgrimage, and I highly recommend both collector and pipe maker, whatever level, get to a pipe show, because that's where you really get to meet the community from all over the country. You get to come together where people of like mind get to come together and swarm around a hobby that we all enjoy, which is just pipes and tobacco. That's where you get just unparalleled knowledge on both sides, as a maker and as a collector. You get to meet the guys who've been collecting for decades. They get to tell you about their stories. They get to tell you about what they collect, what they look for, the tobaccos they like to smoke. That you get to hear stories and more information about how tobaccos are made, how they're blended, different types of tobaccos that have gone out of production. Heck, you even get to taste some beautiful tobaccos that you may never be able to get your hands on because they're just part of some guy's collection and were discontinued decades ago. That might be the only place you get to taste that. But from a maker's perspective, when I was first starting out, I made it a point to go to my first show, and it helped break me out of my bubble and my echo chamber. Because when I got to meet the artisans that I admired and got to meet them and make friends with them, and I got to hold their pipes, the pricing made sense all of a sudden. It made sense in a deeper way. It made sense to me in terms of saying, I get why this is priced the way that it is. I can feel the energy. I can see the beauty. I can see the level of precision. I can see all these little details. And it made me look at my own work and realize I'm light years away from being able to charge anything closely resembling what they're charging. It helped put me in a proper perspective, and it helped me now start to be able to articulate tangible goals for my pipe making. I need my stems to be perfect. They have to be consistent. I need to make sure that my lines match up. I need to make sure that my color matches up. With that image burned in my head of these high quality pipes that I saw, I now have a frame of reference to reference back that when that pipe was finished, I could sit there and rely on that memory and be like, okay, it's getting closer. And then of course, when you go to a show, always bring some pipes with you. Even if you're not a vendor, if you're first starting out, make a pipe or two. If you're lucky, you'll sell them while you're there, but bring them so you can go to those makers that you admire and ask them, What do you think? What could I do better? And pipe shows are a great way to be able to hook yourself up with a formal understudy with a high grade maker, because there you get to buy them a beer, pay them a couple compliments, show them the work, build a reputation, build a relationship with them that can lend into a learning experience. Because remember, you're flying out to these people's homes. Like us pipe makers, some of us are lucky and maybe might have a storefront or like an actual factory or something like that that's off premises somewhere they make pipes, but that's few. Most of us, this is a home operation out of a shed in our backyard, in this case a basement or a garage. It's very hard and it's very concerning for somebody to just email a pipe maker out of the blue and say, hey, can I come to your house and learn from you? The answer is almost always going to be no. However direct or passive they're going to be, it's going to be a no. But you increase your chances of getting those once in a lifetime and very necessary learning opportunities by going to the shows and meeting these people in person so they can put a face to the name. They can see who you are, they can build a relationship, and that helps build up the comfortability level to say, you know what, I think we can make something work, we can get you out to the shop. So when it comes to pricing, when you're first starting out, in that $100 to $200 range is where you're slowly becoming competent. Your work's still not all there by any means. There's probably going to be some scratches here and there, some unevenness as you're working out your muscle memory. But understand that you want to keep an eye as you start building your skill set. You get that apprenticeship. It's not licensed to then start to just shoot your pricing up. Because remember, you're shooting not for the price, you're shooting for the quality. So take that pipe as your skill sets are growing. Look at the market, because it's the market that will determine what pipes are worth, not you. You actually don't really get to say how much your pipe is worth. The market does. So if you want to have a lasting career, always look to the market and what they're paying for a pipe, because that's going to tell you how quickly or how slowly something is going to sell. So as your skill set is going, I always say slightly undercharge for your pipe. Always be undercharging for your pipe. If you make a pipe and you say, this looks like a $400 pipe, maybe charge $300, maybe a little bit lower, so that when your customer gets it, they are excited about the pipe. They're like, wow, this is way better quality than what I thought I was going to be getting. Because eventually what's going to happen is that you're going to get support. That as you move up in the pricing, still being under what the actual market value of the pipe might be, you're going to have a big group of followers supporting you, saying, about time you raised your prices. About time, that you start asking for more. And that can be a good sign when people start telling you should be charging more. That might be a good sign. But you always want to pursue quality and consistency before pursuing the price points. The price comes with the consistency and the skill set. As those grow, the price will slowly follow with it. So all of you guys, this is a little thing I want to let you guys know. There is a pipe show coming up. So for all of you makers out there who are just starting out, you're trying to get into the pipe world, you want to get into pipe making, get yourself to the Muletown Pipe Show that's in Tennessee. I believe it's Columbus or Columbia. I should know this. It'd probably be good if I did. I'll put a link in the description for you. But get your butts out there. If you're a collector who's never gone to a show, this is a great one to go to. Highly recommend it. It's been growing over the years. People have been oohing and awing over it. So it's a great place to get your feet wet, to meet some great carvers, to meet some of the guys who are blending tobacco. You get to meet a bunch of great people there, and you get to see pipes of varying skill levels there. Okay, this is where you can start building that connection and really start, building roots in the pipe community, because that's really where it's at with pipe smoking. It's a solitary activity, but at the same time too, there is a robust community. And if you're not part of that robust community, or at least visiting it once a year at a show, you are severely missing out on the riches of pipe smoking. So come to the Muletown show. I will be there. I will have pipes for sale so you can see my work in person, meet me, and I'm ready to have great conversations about pipes and theology. And you get to meet my videographer, Frank Curl from Catholic Lens, who does amazing Catholic imagery. So if you have any photography questions, bring him to him, and he will have probably no answers for you because he's just that gifted. It's pure, raw, unadulterated talent. So the reality is he probably won't have any answers for you, except you just got to be him to be that good. So, yeah, you're welcome, Frank. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday. God bless. And hopefully in these next coming episodes before the show, I'll do a little show and tell for you and show you the pipes I'll be bringing. So have a great one, and I'll see you guys next week.